Monday, June 3rd, 2019, will come to order, and the clerk will please call the roll.
Calling the roll, Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Tuma.
Here.
Ms. Simon. Ms. Simon is absent at the moment. Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Mr. Shrine.
Here.
Ms. Brown. Ms. Brown is absent at the moment. Ms. Baker. Here. We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Has anybody signed in for public comment?
No, Mr. Chair, no one is signed in.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes for the May 20th, 2019 meeting. Those minutes are in your packet. Is there a motion?
Move to approve. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the May 20th meeting. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. The minutes from May 20th are approved. And we have just one item, one piece of legislation, and I would ask that that item be read into the record.
Resolution number 2019-0132, making awards on requisition number 43377 to AT&T Corporation in a total amount not to exceed $2,157,000 for various services for the period 1/1/2019 to 12/31/2023.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Janelle Green, Department of IT, and I also have Andy Moser, also Department of IT. So to give you some background about the RFP itself, it closed in October of 2018 for a 5-year contract for 4 separate services. We have WAN circuits or WAN links, measured business, long distance, and PRI. 5 vendors submitted proposals, 3 were evaluated. AT&T is a selected vendor for the lowest cost and their network presence, stability, and features, and reduced cost that they propose from our prior contract. So to continue on with the background, why is it late? So we had several contract negotiations and discussions that carried on significantly later than we anticipated. Also, at the time, the local office of the AT&T services were being restructured. And also, it took a time to get them signed on the end from the vendor. In this time, did we receive services? Yes, we did receive services. They continued on the services after we selected them as the recommended vendor. Have we paid any invoices? No, we have not paid any invoices on this contract since they ended December 31st from the last contract. Just a brief description on what WAN circuits are. Again, they're also known as WAN links. They're the communication circuits that join 2 or more local area networks. This is over our county-owned fiber network, also provides VPN tunnel coverage, and county private network. Since we are connecting 45 agencies in 16 cities, this is a necessary service. Measured business lines. This is a baseline source of analog phone services for various applications throughout the county. So there's elevator lines, 911 gateways, fax, fire alarms, and security alarms. We have a total of 378 of these kinds of lines. So also, we came before you to present the Centrex contract. So things that roll off the Centrex contract come on to the measured business lines.
So these are lines that don't use the voice over internet protocol. Is that correct? Okay.
Long distance services. Obviously, we need long distance to call out. So the services that utilize the long distance are the measured business, also Centrex, our WebEx conference calling, and our toll-free lines. AT&T was the only vendor to submit a proposal for this, and they submitted the proposal for rates of 2 cents per minute. So we thought that was a good cost. PRI, there's a primary rate interface, which is a telecommunication standard that enables traditional lines to carry voice, data, and video traffic. Last slide, contract costs. So we had this chart to set up what our last contract was in comparison to this current contract and to show the differences. So we have a net $1 million savings over the cost of all of these contracts. over the savings over the 5-year period. Also, again, as I stated, the lines from the Centrex service transition to the measured business when applicable. So Andy did state before when we had conversations that does cover all of the agencies for the county. Are there any questions?
Questions by my colleagues? Not seeing any of immediately, I'll start with a couple of questions. Did we bid this out as an all or nothing package as opposed to theoretically there being possibly separate contracts for different elements of these services?
We did bid them out together, but not as one. So multiple vendors could have, we could have picked AT&T for one service, another vendor for another service. So it wasn't an all or nothing.
So, but AT&T won all of them, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And you said that we're saving $1 million over what these same services would have cost over the previous 5 years. Did I hear that correctly?
That is correct.
And where and how was that savings achieved?
We're saving this is Andy Mullis from Department of IT. They've eliminated the usage costs off of all of our measured business and our long distance and our PRIs. So we've seen significant savings from the usage that we were paying for before. The WAN contracts, they came down in price for the WAN links for each individual circuit as well.
And do you see any new technology emerging that could potentially render this obsolete before the 5 years are over? And if that were to occur, what would happen to this contract?
Oh, that's a good question, Councilman. Right now, there's other technologies that are out there. It's not going to outdate or do away within the 5-year period. The transitional costs would have been surmountable if we went to a new technology during this period of time. So we took a look at what the transitional costs would be, and they were exceptionally larger than what we currently have today. But there is, but it was far more expensive than what we have today.
Any other questions? Okay.
And it's the first time I've seen this, so I'm trying to go through the contracted costs. Whenever you have a difference like that of over $1 million in savings for the next 5 years, it just raises the red flag of, I could see a small savings. Usually there's always increases just because of, cost of living. So can you explain again how we can be possibly going from 3.2 to 2.1? Where is the considerable amount of savings? I'm trying to look at it here. At the last contract was 551, but it actually increased 500,000.
Right, for
So,
that particular
yeah.
contract, so we had the Centrex contract we came probably a month or so ago about, and so those lines transitioned over to measured business. So Andy stated that we have a savings from the usage cost. So for whatever lines and whatever circuits that we did have, we had a usage cost on top of just the services cost. So AT&T was able to eliminate that fee, which dropped our cost down significantly. And also at the same time, we also consolidate lines and get rid of lines as we feel that we don't need them. So also think that in this time, we may have owned more properties and more buildings at the same time. And once we consolidate those, we eliminate circuits, we eliminate lines, phone lines, and different things like that. So as our building and also the usage that we have changes, also this contract value changed in that time too.
Do you think that it's smart to have a 5-year contract if we find that things change as they did in the last 5, that maybe a 3-year contract would be better, only because they may drop again, and we're still paying the higher amount for the balance of the time left in the contract?
I think the 5-year would save us time, possibly not the significant cost that we would see over 5 years. I think, like I stated earlier, I think the amount of change in regards to changing over, porting over all of our numbers, transitioning over to a new circuitry, that would take at least 2 years of the contract just doing that.
Yeah.
So the 5-year seemed reasonable for us.
And on top of that, we also monitor our usage and how much money we certify the contracts. And if we look at what our usage is, if we see, looking at the invoices, if we see we don't spend that much, we don't certify that much. And if we, this is a not to exceed, so we're looking at in case something happens. So we don't necessarily expect to expend all of the funds on this contract, but it's there in case we may need it for something.
Anything else? Okay, well, given the lateness, I would presume that you would appreciate if we did second reading suspension, is that correct?
That is correct.
Would somebody like to make a motion to that effect?
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded to favorably recommend Resolution 2019-0132 to the full council for consideration for passage under second reading suspension. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And it is recommended for approval. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council.
Any miscellaneous business? Yes.
For our witnesses. Ma'am, what is your position with IT?
Sorry, I'm the business manager of IT.
And sir?
I'm the interim CTO/infrastructure manager.
Okay. Do either one of you know what happened to that $300,000 grant that we had to send back from the federal government?
In terms of how it was used and
Yeah.
things like that, no,
We-
I don't
we
have
still
the
don't-
details.
We still don't know.
I know that it's
And that's,
looked
I know
at.
it's being investigated. I just didn't know if you had known.
Yeah, no, I just facilitated our payment over to the index to make sure that we cover that cost.
Okay, thank you, fair enough.
Thank you.
Anything else? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much, everybody. We are adjourned.